Hello and welcome everybody to Filling Your Canvas using JAWS with Canvas Learning Management System. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. As always, our presenter today is Elizabeth Whitaker, technical writer from Vispero. Many times presented JAWS topics for us. Glad she's able to join us again today and glad you're with us. Let's talk about our learning objectives. We're going to review at least 3 JAWS navigation quick keys for navigating Canvas content. We'll identify 1 keyboard command for listing native Canvas keystrokes. Actually, we may get to a second one as well. Review 3 steps for accessing a class. Review 3 steps for accessing the calendar. So quite a bit to cover here today. Let's talk about some challenges, things that may be problematic for you. Courses can be set up differently in Canvas, and that can make it difficult for students to find information on each course page. So a lot of ways, just like a website can be set up differently, these classes can be set up differently, and sometimes that's not so good for the student trying to get all the information they need. Canvas requires students to have prerequisite knowledge on how to navigate web pages using JAWS. Got to know how to get through and find links and headings and buttons and such. If you can't do that, you're going to really struggle with Canvas. If classes aren't created with accessibility guidelines in mind, students will have difficulty navigating with JAWS. So while that's the case in all situations, it's extremely important in Canvas. And Elizabeth's going to tell us why that is and what we can do to deal with it. So without any more talking, let's turn it over to Elizabeth.
All right, thanks a lot, Paul. Thank you to you guys at APH for letting me be here today. These are always a lot of fun, and I really enjoy getting the opportunity to co-host these webinars with you. So let's talk about what we're going to cover first of all. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Canvas platform. We're going to talk about some accessibility considerations, as Paul was just saying, that are important when you are creating a course and why they're important as a student to know as well. We're going to access profile and user settings, access class content, also grades and quizzes, view and submit assignments, how to read announcements, set notification preferences and settings, and also participate in discussions and collaborate. And then finally, how to access messages. So I know it sounds like we're going to be covering a lot, which we are, but I'm going to demonstrate a lot of these tasks, and we're just going to kind of talk through them. Now, you know, these are kind of the beginner, and this is how you navigate Canvas. This is the interface. And, you know, some of you may have some more advanced questions, and that's fine. I'm happy to answer those. And if I know the answer, and if I do not know the answer, I'll be happy to help you get the answer. So I realize that, you know, Canvas is used. Well, let's just talk about this, the quick overview of Canvas. So Canvas is used in a lot of schools, and Canvas is used in a lot of schools and colleges and some other learning institutions as well. And it's a web-based platform. It's a learning management system that allows you to create courses and allows students to go online and, you know, upload information, download information, create, you know, do assignments right there on the platform. Now, the accessibility of Canvas is going to be determined by 2 different things. It's determined by the accessibility of the platform itself, which Canvas is accessible. And then it's also depends on the accessibility of the content that you put on Canvas. And that's what we're really going to be talking about in this next slide as well. Now, when you're navigating Canvas, you can use do this in a few different ways. You can use standard navigation commands to read. Those are the commands that you're going to use when you're reading documents and things with JAWS, like your arrow keys and control right and left arrow and things like that. You can use quick navigation keys, which this is specific to JAWS. So quick navigation keys, if you're on the internet or in some sort of HTML environment, you can use these keys to navigate through different elements on that page. And elements include things like links, headings, buttons, tables, things like that. And so, for example, you press H to navigate through headings, T for tables, B for buttons. So you can use those commands to navigate through Canvas. And then Canvas also has some what we call native keyboard commands. Those are commands that they have built into their web-based system that you can use to do specific things. And those are a little bit tricky in the sense that there are two different ways, and we'll get to this, but there are two different ways to get to those commands. And the way that you use depends on where you are in Canvas. So you can also visit the Canvas website for a lot of tips for users of assistive technology. They do have a lot of great information there. And so we have a link to that. And we also have a link to the Canvas community where you'll find a lot of information on making your content accessible. And you can also access a list of shortcuts too, those keyboard shortcuts I just mentioned on the Canvas website. All right, so one thing I really like about Canvas, and I'm gonna show you how to do this here in just a few minutes when I do share my screen, is that no matter where you are in Canvas, you can always go back to the dashboard. That's like your home, kind of your main menu, so to speak. And I like that you can always go back there because it gives you a way to always just kind of return to zero, go back. Now here's where I want to be and I can find what I'm looking for. Now, keep in mind also, like with every other web-based or any application, changes occur. And when those changes occur, if something could possibly not work correctly. So if you find that that's happening, let Canvas know, definitely report that. And if you're using JAWS and you have some issues with that, let us know too, because we can check into it and, talk to them and see what's going on. So definitely let them know and let us know. Feel free to let us know too. Okay, so let's talk about some accessibility considerations. Now, again, these are really important if you're creating a course on Canvas, and it's also important for students too, because as a student, you may be in a situation where you need to self-advocate. You need to explain to a professor, a teacher, an instructor, why the content is not working for you. Why is it not accessible? And so in order to explain that, it helps to know what kinds of things make this content accessible. Now, if you're just uploading, files and things like that, and you're typing in the rich text editor, for the most part, you're going to find it really straightforward. But I just want to go over these things to let you know that, because the more that you create courses and the more that you put in a course, the more these things are going to be relevant. So the first thing I suggest is to make sure all your courses are as uniform as possible. And what I mean by that is try to lay them out the same when you can, because when students take one of your courses and then they go to the next course, they're going to know where to find things. They're going to know that, oh, this instructor creates modules and all my assignments and things are in each module, and that's really easy to find, and the layout's the same, and that way they don't miss things.
Hey, Elizabeth, do you mind if I pause you real quick? I think we missed a poll question.
Oh, we did. We sure did. See, I told you I'd forget. I sure did. Okay, yes, let's do that poll question.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were missing it either, but yeah, let's get back there to it then.
Sorry about that. That's my fault.
Nope, mine too. I didn't see it either, but okay. This is a check all that apply question. We want to know which web page elements are frequently used in Canvas. Which web page elements are frequently used in Canvas? Check all that apply. Regions, headings, links, and buttons.
All right, so I've got that poll launched. We switched around the order of these polls at the beginning, and I thought I had things in the right order, but here we go. I think, Paul, we missed the first question.
Did we move?
Yeah, so we missed the check all that apply with JAWS quick nav key.
Ah, okay.
We'll do that later.
Yeah, we can do that one again. We'll go over this information and I'll share this with you guys as well, demonstrate.
And feel free at any point, drop your questions in the chat. No questions so far. So we'll take a look at the poll.
All right.
The question was, check all that apply. Which web page elements are used frequently in Canvas? This was a multiple choice. 80% shared links, 84% said headings, 65% said buttons, and 31% said regions. What was the correct answer, Elizabeth?
They are all correct. You guys did great. So regions are probably the least talked about of all those particular elements, but I'm going to show you why those are very powerful here in Canvas.
All right, so I'm back on the accessibility considerations slide.
All right. So you want to ensure that your page layout is simple and clean. Just leave it uncluttered, meaning, you know, if there's too much information on it, it can get difficult to navigate. So you can still have a layout that looks great, but you want to keep it simple to navigate. You want to organize your content when it's text in short paragraphs. That makes it scannable. And I think that's probably the case with even, you know, people who can see the screen. It's really easy to scan through that content. And then on top of that, if you include section headings, it makes it really easy to scan visually and also with JAWS, because again, you can use that quick nav key H and you can very quickly find the heading that you're looking for. Use alt text to describe images, and that's really important, whether it's a web page or a PowerPoint presentation, no matter what it is, you always want to use that alt text to describe what the image is. Link URLs to words that describe the destination page rather than just using the web address itself. So URL stands for Uniform Resource Location. That's not really terribly important, but it's a web address is what that is. You'll see URL. And what I mean by this is, so you might have a really long web address, you know, something like https:// and this big long web address. Well, that web address, especially for reading it with JAWS, and JAWS is, you know, you have words, of course, you don't have spaces in a web address, so you have words that are, you know, together. And so JAWS might pronounce those words in a funny way so that really the user doesn't know what that link goes to. So, and this is just an example, but for example, if I'm linking to the Freedom Scientific blog, I'm going to use the text Freedom Scientific blog in, you know, within my text there, within my sentence. And that way people can understand the context. You know, if I say visit the Freedom Scientific blog, and then I'm going to take those words, Freedom Scientific blog, and I'm going to link them to the actual website for the blog so that it will say link Freedom Scientific blog. So rather than saying http:// and so forth, it's just going to say the words, you know, that it refers to, and it's going to tell the person, oh yeah, this is what will happen if I go to this link. I'm going to go to the Freedom Scientific blog. So I hope I explained that where it makes sense. And also in tables, you want to make sure that you title your columns and your rows, because if they're not properly titled, that makes it difficult for a JAWS user to navigate through them and really know what's associated with what in the table. And there was something here also that I thought was interesting about moving content. So if you are creating a course and you want to move content, there is a, you know, drag and drop option, but you can also move the content. There's a move option. You can do that in modules, discussions, assignments, outcomes, and I think quizzes as well. Now, if you want to get a list of keyboard shortcuts that are native to Canvas in a discussion, in announcements, or in the rich content editor, you're going to press Alt F8. We're going to be talking about this a few times throughout. And there are also clues, because it's kind of confusing to know when you're in Canvas, like where can I actually get these keyboard commands? There are links that'll say keyboard shortcuts, and you can just, press enter on those links as well. Now, if you want to access a list of keyboard commands in assignments, in modules, in gradebook, and in SpeedGrader, you can press Shift plus /. That's the question mark. And we'll talk about that one as well. Now the calendar, which we'll talk about this later, the calendar supports agenda view. That's the most accessible way to access the calendar, because it's going to list everything in a list format rather than like a grid style. All right, so there are just a lot of there's a lot of information here that you can find on those links that I gave you a little bit earlier that I mentioned. So let's go ahead and go on to the next. Let's see. We're going to talk about accessing your profile and user settings. And I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. Let me just kind of make a few points here. But
all right, I've got the access profile and user settings slide up.
Okay. And were we going to do another poll question?
We can at this point go back to the one that we missed, which was,
Yeah, we can do that.
check all that apply, which JAWS quick nav keys. So we'll go back to that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So which JAWS quick nav key enables you to navigate through headings in Canvas? Tab, down arrow, H, E, or A? Which JAWS quick navigation key enables you to navigate through headings in Canvas? Tab, down arrow, H, E, or A?
All right, there might have been an issue because we skipped it the first time. I don't see folks responding. It isn't clickable. So if you want to drop your answer in the chat, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So Paul, do you mind reading those again?
Sure. So, yep, I see stuff coming in. All right. So which JAWS quick navigation key enables you to navigate through headings in Canvas? Tab, down arrow, H, E, and A. And seeing a lot of H's coming in. That's good.
All right, well, I think the H's have it. Elizabeth, what was the correct response?
That's it, H.
All right, well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking that not poll and just sharing with us in the chat. We apologize for that. Sometimes if you skip, I guess it won't let you go back. So I'm going to go forward to our access profile and user settings slide. And Elizabeth, just tell me when you're ready to share.
All right. So you can activate your account button, which is where you're going to find your profile and settings. And there you can add a profile picture, contact options, and web services. You can change the settings for keyboard shortcuts, high contrast mode, Microsoft Immersive Reader, which if you use Microsoft Edge, you may be familiar with. That allows you to read content. It'll read it to you, or it'll allow you to read content without all of that clutter. You can also underline links to help make them more visible. And then you also have some to-do items that you can change the settings for. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And let's see. It's telling me I cannot. Let's see.
I just stopped.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We need. Here we go. I'm going to share my sound so that you guys can.
Desktop dash APM Meet dashboard Google Chrome.
All right. Can you guys see that?
Same.
Yes.
Okay.
Dashboard.
All right. So I'm here on the dashboard. So when you log into Canvas, this is where you're going to be. Now I'm also, I don't know if this makes any difference or not, because I'm not logged into an institution version of
page.
Canvas, but I'm using the Free for Teachers account. So, so I'm here in the dashboard,
Dashboard.
and let's just navigate around here just a little bit. I want to show you a couple things. So we mentioned regions just a few minutes ago. Regions organize, like within a region, you have information that is similar. So for example, you might have a navigation region, and within that region, you're going to find navigation items, things you can navigate to. You might have a main region where you're going to find some text. So you can navigate among regions by pressing R, and I'm going to do that now. That's a JAWS quick key.
Same page link, skip the content, visited link dashboard, global navigation region.
It said global navigation region, and there if I press down arrow.
List of 7 items, account button, visited current page link dashboard, courses button, visited link calendar.
And you hear it say visited link because I visited all these links, but it knows by the change of color that I visited them.
Visited link inbox, history button.
Some of these are buttons, some of these are links. If you don't remember which is which, that's okay because there's a JAWS find command you can always use. All right, so I'll press R again.
Main region.
And now we have the main region. And if I down arrow.
Heading level 1 dashboard. Dashboard options button menu collapse menu.
Then we have like the main part of the page. So that's one way to navigate. I'm going to go back to the top with Control Home.
Dashboard.
You can press H for headings.
Dashboard heading level 1, Math, JAWS, and Braille heading level 3 link.
There is my course that I created. It's under a heading level 3.
To do heading level 2, recent feedback heading level 2, wrapping to top.
And those are the headings. So that just gives you a kind of an idea of how the page is laid out. Now on any page or any application for that matter, you can get context sensitive help. This is a JAWS command. It's insert F1.
This is a heading at level 1.
So this brings up some information in the JAWS virtual viewer so we can read it with our arrow key. So I'm at the top.
This is a heading at level 1.
Let me actually go to the top here.
This is a heading at level 1 and is used to indicate the beginning of a section or subsection. Escape. Heading let escape.
Okay, let me go back to the top.
Dashboard.
Okay, so it will give you context sensitive help no matter where you are. So whatever you're on, that's what it's going to give you the information about. So I'm going to press insert F1 here.
This page contains 18 links. There are 6 regions. There are 4 headings.
And so right there, and it gives a lot of other information here, and you can just use your up and down arrows to read through it. But right there,
this page contains 18 links.
We have really 3 pieces of really important information. We have
this page contains 18 links.
18 links.
There are 6 regions.
6 regions.
There are 4 headings.
4 headings. Yeah, it's not really important how many there are, but that you know those things are on the page so you know how to navigate it. Okay, so I'm going to press escape.
Escape dashboard.
And let's go to account. I'm going to press B because I know, because I've navigated this page, I know that there's an account button.
Account button.
And I'll press space or enter. I'm going to press space.
Dashboard, close button.
All right, so now it brings up the account information. We have a close button at the top.
Close button.
And I'm just going to down arrow here and just kind of show you where we are.
User profile picture graphic. Heading level 2 Renee Whitaker.
So that's my middle name because I created a teacher's account and a student account, and it just for some reason didn't like me using the same name for both.
Log out button.
So from here you can log out.
List of 7 items. Link notifications.
There's notifications. We're going to talk about that a bit.
Link profile.
There's where I could go to change my profile information. I could enter here and I could, well, here, let's just do it. I'll press space.
Blank. User profile.
So here we have user profile and I can read through this information.
Same page links visited link dashboard.
I can hit H.
User profile heading level 1.
And I can down arrow.
Link click to change profile picture for Renee Whitaker.
So there I could add a picture.
Heading level 2 Renee Whitaker. Heading level 3 contact. No registered services. Link settings.
And so from here you have settings. From this page you can add contacts. You can add web services like Google Drive, things like that. You can edit your profile. So there's a lot of different options here on this page. So I'm going to go back. Now, if I go back, if I press Alt left arrow, it's going to go back to the main dashboard. So what I want to do is I want to get a list of links, and I'm going to press Insert F7.
Links list dialog.
And I'm going to. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Let me get.
Escape.
Oh, that's right. Account is a button. I always forget this. Okay.
User profile.
So I'm going to see if I have an account button here.
Account button.
I do. So I'm going to press space.
Banner region.
And so now I'm back in account.
Use heading level 2 or logout button. List of link notifications.
So we're back to this list of items where we had notifications,
Visited link profile.
profile. So, you know, again, there you can go to your profile. You can make all those changes.
Link files. Link settings.
Here we have settings. Let's go here.
List with 7 items. Settings link. Use
So again, I can press the letter H.
Renee Whitaker settings heading level 1.
I can down arrow.
Table with 2 columns and 8 rows.
Now these are in tables, or a lot of them are in tables.
Full.
So
Full name.
here we have a table with information about, you know, you can change how your name appears.
Renee Whitaker. This name will be used for grading. Display name. Renee Whitaker.
How your name is displayed, things like that. I can press T to go to the next table, or I can press H to go to the next heading.
Web services heading level 2. Canvas can make your life a lot easier by tying itself in with the web tools you already use.
So here again, you can, this is where you can actually go in and add Google Drive and things like that, the services that you use. I'll press H again.
Registered services heading level 3. There are no graphics on.
So here you have
No heading level 3 other services.
You have a lot of different settings here. And again, let's go back to the top. You can navigate by table.
Table with 2 columns and 8 rows.
The only reason I didn't do that is because that doesn't really tell me what is in this table.
Auto show closed captions button collapsed.
Now, here you have different settings you can change, and these are buttons. And you'll hear it say, like this one said, auto show closed captions collapsed. I can press the space bar to activate that button, and that's going to open a menu. This is something that's uniform across Canvas. Anytime you have settings and you have things you can change, this is normally how you're going to do it. So I'm going to press the space bar.
User table, column 1. Automatically show closed captions in the user's current language if available when playing Canvas media. Auto show closed captions, current auto detect field set auto show closed.
And when you press space on that button, it kind of opens up another thing that gives you more information. Press space on the button, and now you have a drop-down list. And so we have
disabled checked, 2 of 2.
Disabled,
enabled not checked,
or enabled. And these are not radio buttons, but you know, so whichever one you want, like disabled is checked. If I wanted to enable that, I would press enter on enable, but I don't. So we have disabled, which is checked, and you can just press enter and it'll keep that setting.
Escape virtual PC cursor.
So that is how you change settings in Canvas. Now we're going to go to the next slide, but before I do that, I'm going to get a list of links.
D, download submissions. Skip to D, dashboard.
And we're going to go back to dashboard. Great feature.
Dashboard.
Allows you to just go back to the beginning no matter what you're doing. All right, so let's go on to the next. I'm going to stop sharing here for just a minute. And do you guys have any questions so far?
Elizabeth, we did have one question come in.
Okay.
Let me pull that up. So when you navigated, did you select dashboard with a down arrow?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm so sorry. I should have said. You can, but I just pressed the letter D. That is first letter navigation. So whatever the link is that you're looking for, you can just press the first letter. And if it's not the first link that you hear, then you just press that letter again until you hear it, and then you press enter.
Great. That was the one that came in.
That is a great question. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. Next question. We have someone. Oh, sorry. So for anybody who arrived late, we will be posting handouts and this PowerPoint no later than the end of this week on our Access Academy page. I'm going to drop that link in the chat again. This is where you'll head to find those handouts and PowerPoint when they are available. All right. Any other questions while we're paused?
I think the one lady was looking for a list of Canvas keystrokes. So can you go back over how they can find those?
Yeah, you can find those. Now you can go to the Canvas website and you can get a list of keyboard commands for Canvas there if you want to read through them. And I'll be showing you some different places that you can press either Alt F8 or Shift/ from within Canvas. And anytime you're in, you know, like let's say an assignment or something like that, and if you forget which keyboard command it is, try one. If that doesn't work, try the other, because it is very specific as far as where it works and which command is used. I know that didn't really help. I'm sorry, but I will be showing you that here in just a few minutes.
All right, well, that is it for questions right now.
Okay. Well, let's talk about how to access class content, grades, and quizzes. So you can use your quick nav keys and the commands that you are used to using to read documents and things like that to access the content in each section. You can access courses and grades right there from the dashboard. And you can access quizzes from within courses. And there's also a link to those on the dashboard as well. So I'm going to share my screen once again.
And Liz, while you're doing that, a different question came in.
Sure.
When you used context sensitive help, insert plus F1, where was your focus?
The first time I did it, and I didn't realize this, was I had navigated to a heading on the page, and that's where the focus was. And so when I pressed insert F1, that's what it started telling me was about the item that I was on. Then I went back to the top of the page and then did it again, and it gave me all that information about the page.
Meeting and dashboard, Google Chrome.
All right.
Dashboard.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm here on the dashboard and I'm going to press the letter B to find the courses button. Your course, like the course that I've created here, is on this page. I can press the letter H, but I don't know. I like to go to the courses button and then, show it from that aspect because that's where you're going to find all your courses.
Account button, courses button.
So I'm going to press space on courses.
Dashboard, close button.
And then I'll press the letter H to navigate to the first heading.
Courses heading level 2.
And that tells me there are courses here.
Wrapping to top, wrapping to list of one item.
And if I down arrow, it said wrapping to top because there were no other headings. So I'm here on the courses heading.
Heading level 2 courses.
And I can down arrow.
List of one items, link math, JAWS, and Braille.
And if I had several courses here that I was enrolled in, they would all be listed here.
List end.
But they're not because I only have one.
Link math, JAWS, and Braille.
Okay, so I'm going to press enter on this course name, Math, JAWS, and Braille.
List with one items, math, JAWS, and Braille link, math, JAWS, and Braille, math, comma.
Okay, and again, I can press H.
Math, JAWS, and Braille heading level 1.
And that takes me to the main heading for the course. And if I press down arrow here.
Math, JAWS, and Braille, heading level 2 course modules.
Here we have a heading for course modules. And I did create 2 modules. I like to organize things in modules.
Collapse all modules button expanded.
And we don't want to collapse the modules, so.
Heading level 2 access math content with JAWS, Fusion, and a Braille display.
All right, so that's the first module, and you can press the letter H just to find that as well. And then under this heading is everything that pertains to this module. So I'm going to down arrow.
Access math content with JAWS, Fusion, and a Braille display toggle module visibility button expanded.
We're going to leave that expanded.
List of 5 items.
So here we have 5 things. We're going to down arrow.
Link math, JAWS, and Braille webinar.
So this is a link. It's an external link to a webinar that we did on using math and with JAWS and Braille.
External URL. Link math, JAWS, and Braille webinar links to an external site.
And that's the same link right there. It lays it out like that.
Link accessing math content with JAWS and Fusion.
Okay, that is a link to our Freedom Scientific math page.
External URL.
And it says external URL.
Link accessing math content with JAWS and Fusion links to an external site. Link review webinar. Assignment.
So now it says review webinar, and that's an assignment. So I'm just pressing down arrow here is what I'm doing. So it lets me know that's an assignment.
Link review webinar, 50 PTS.
Tells me how many points.
Link review math page.
A lot of points for reviewing a webinar.
Link review math page.
Reviewing the math page.
Assignment.
That's another assignment.
Link review math page, 100 PTS. Link access math content. Quiz.
And there's a quiz.
Link access math content. 5 PTS. List end.
So we could access any of these things. Let's go back up to one of the assignments.
Visited current page link home. Visited
Oh,
link.
wait, I did something wrong.
Math, JAWS, and Braille.
All right, so I went back to that heading and let's go to that module.
Course modules heading. Access math content with JAWS.
All right, so now I'm going to down arrow.
List of link math. Link math. Link accessing math content with JAWS and Fusion links to an link assignment.
All right, let's go here.
Link review webinar.
Review webinar. So if I press enter on this assignment,
Main region. Course.
and we're going to talk about assignments here in just
Playlist.
a bit as well.
Review webinar at list no due date. Points 50. List end. Watch the math, JAWS, and Braille webinar to learn about various ways of accessing math content with JAWS and a Braille display. Then practice reading math equations online in the JAWS math editor and an MS Word. Module navigation.
So that's that assignment. So that's how you're going to access your content. Now I'm going to go back a page. Let's see what this does.
Back. Math, JAWS.
Okay, good.
List end. 50 PT.
Okay. Sometimes when you use Alt left arrow to go back, it goes all the way back to the dashboard. This didn't. So let's find that quiz.
Assignment. Visited link review 50. Link review assignment. Link review math page. 1 link access math content quiz.
And that's a quiz. Now there are other ways to view quizzes as well. So if I go to the top of the page here with Control Home,
Math.
let's get a list of links with Insert F7.
Links list dialog.
And I'm going to press Q.
Q quizzes 15 of 39.
And it said 15 of 39. It means that's the 15th link out of 39 links on the page. So I'm going to press enter on quizzes.
Quizzes. Pay quizzes.
So there are two ways. You can do it from the module or you can do it from the actual quiz itself.
Quizzes heading level 1. Wrapping to top. Search edit. Wrapping search edit. Assignment.
Okay, so you can search for quizzes. Let's go back to the quiz.
Wrapping to top. Quizzes heading level 1.
So that's the main heading for quiz.
Search for quiz.
You can search.
Edit. Assignment. Quizzes toggle. List of 1 quiz. Link access math content.
So here's a quiz.
5 PTS. 5 questions. List end.
And that's the only quiz there. So if I go here,
5 link access math content.
there's a link to access math content. That's the quiz. I'll press enter.
Main region. List with 1 items.
And
list.
I'll press H.
Access math content heading level 1.
And that takes us to the heading for the main heading for that quiz.
List of 5 items. No due date. Points 5. Questions 5. Time limit 10 minutes. Allowed attempts unlimited. List end. Heading level 2 instructions. Answer the following questions by selecting either true or false. Link take the quiz again.
And I took it earlier so I would have a grade, but here if you down arrow, here if you press enter, or if you've never taken it, it'll say start quiz or take quiz. And if you press enter, it'll take you to that page. Let's go there so I can show you a little bit about the page.
Main region. Banner region.
Now I just used true and
Page
false.
has quiz.
Sorry, just started reading what it loaded. I just used true false questions here, which were check boxes. You can also use radio buttons. You can use drop down lists. You can use things like that for multiple choice and things like that. So I'm going to press H.
Access math content heading level 1. Started March 22 at 12:13 p.m.
Now this is really interesting. I'm going to keep going down here. I'm down arrowing.
Heading level 2 quiz instructions. Answer the following questions by selecting either true or false. Note, this is a timed quiz. You may check the remaining time you have at any point while taking the quiz by pressing the keyboard combination Shift Alt and T again. Shift Alt and T .
So if you press Shift Alt and T,
Alt Shift T, 9 minutes, 13 seconds.
it tells you, I think that is one of the neatest features I've ever seen built into a learning management system, that no matter what you're doing, you can press
Alt Shift T, 9 minutes, 2 seconds.
And there you go. So here,
Note end, blank, flag question 1 checkbox not.
You can actually navigate the questions using headings.
Question 1 heading level 2.
And then I'll down arrow.
1 PTS. MathML content on web pages is accessible with JAWS and Fusion in popular browsers like Chrome and Edge.
And then you have your choices here, which are
True radio button not checked.
These are radio buttons. And that means you can only check one of them. So if I press space.
Main region, question region, group of answer choices group, true radio button checked.
Then I've checked that answer. And so I could just keep going through these questions with H.
Question 2, question 5.
And once I check all those answers, I can press the letter B.
Submit quiz button.
And I could press submit quiz.
Group end.
So that
Note submit
is how that you would access the quiz and take a quiz. And, you know, again, all of them could be laid out a little bit differently. You're going to have multiple choice questions and things like that. So I'm going to go back over
Meeting
here
control.
and stop sharing my screen
Alt S.
and see if you guys have any questions.
So one question did come in. My student keeps getting lost on a page. What do you recommend that she can do to reset herself?
It depends on how she's getting lost. Is she losing her focus? Is she just not sure where she is? You know, going back to that dashboard, of course, you don't always want to leave the page that you're on. You have the ability to go back to the dashboard. You can also get back to whatever page you're on. But if you want to email training@vispero.com, we can talk about that more in detail, because I'd be happy to help you and your student, you know, be able to figure that out.
Great. And the next question that came in was, my student will not be exposed to Canvas until college. Can you create a fake account through the free portal for teachers?
Yes. And that's what I did. I just created an account, and it's, you know, free for teachers. And then I was able to go in and create the course, and then I could, you know, invite myself through another email address and go in, and that's what I'm using right now.
Great. So that'd be a good option for folks who also want to test out how to use Canvas from the teacher's perspective, and then get the student perspective later.
Right. And they will contact you, and they're really great about that, and they will follow up. And so, you know, if you just want to learn the platform, it's a great way to do that.
All right. Well, that's it for questions for now.
Okay. All right. Let me. Okay. So next we are going to talk about assignments. And I kind of touched on this, and I'll show you briefly. So courses, of course, can include multiple modules. Mine has 2. And you can complete assignments in a couple of different ways. You can either have your students upload a file, or you can use the rich content editor, which is basically just an edit box where you can either type the information or you can paste it from a document. So you can open the course to access the assignments, and you can, oh yeah, okay, I already said that. You can submit them directly into that rich content editor, which I recommend, you know, if you're going to do that, which is fine. And I've done this before, where you type it in Word or Docs or something like that, and then you check it, you format it, and then you just paste it into that editor. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once again. And all right, there.
Dashboard Google.
Okay.
Dashboard.
So assignments, you have a couple of different ways to get to assignments. Let's go to the course button.
Account button. Courses button. Dashboard.
And I pressed B to get there, and then I pressed space to activate it. And then I'm going to press the letter H.
Courses heading level 2.
And
wrapping the top. List visited link math, JAWS, and Braille.
Okay, so I pressed the letter H to go to courses, the heading for courses. I down arrow to the course, and I'm going to press enter.
List with 1 items.
So
Page has 6
the
quizzes.
assignment that I'm going to show you, so there's several assignments here. I have this broken into 2 modules. So I'll press H.
Math, JAWS, and Braille heading level 1. Course modules heading level 2.
And so each module is going to be under its own heading.
Access math content with JAWS, Fusion, and a Braille display heading level 2.
And that is the module that we were working in a minute ago. And I'll press H again.
Use Desmos online graphing calculator with JAWS heading level 2.
So now if I down arrow here.
Use Desmos online graphing calculator with JAWS toggle module visibility button expanded. List of 4 items. Link Desmos online graphing calculator. External URL.
So this is an external link to a tutorial that we have on our Freedom Scientific Math page that goes through certain tasks. So Desmos is an online graphing calculator. It's a third-party application, but it is accessible with JAWS. And so you can go in there and you can graph certain points, and you get audible feedback. So you can tell if the line slants, if the line, which way, slants, if it goes up to the right, down to the left, whatever's going on, you can tell. It's really, really neat. I encourage you to go check that out. One of our Student of the Month winners, Campbell Rutherford, and Professor Betsy Doan did this tutorial for us. So it's a great tutorial. But so this is an external link to that tutorial page.
Link Desmos Online Graphing Context Module Subheader. Link Desmos Online Graphing Calculator Web Content Rev.docs.
So here there is web content on that page that outlines all the tasks, but I went ahead and uploaded a file just so we'd have something uploaded. So once again, you can download that file. So if you have an assignment that has a file that you're supposed to download and read, you can do that.
Attachment. Link Desmos Online Graphing Calculator Web Content Rev.docs.
And if I were to press enter right here, it would take me to a page that would have a heading for that file, and there would be a download. There's a download button there.
Attachment. Link Desmos Online Graphing Calculator Web Content Rev. Link Desmos Practice.
So here's the assignment, and
Assignment.
I will know that because I pressed down arrow that says assignment. So let's go back up here to that.
Link Desmos Practice.
Press enter.
Main region. Course module.
All right.
Page has 6 regions, 1 heading and 20 links. List.
So we know that there's one heading here because anytime you go to a page, JAWS announces that. So let's by default. So let's press H.
Desmos Practice heading level 1.
And then I can down arrow.
Start assignment button. List of 4 items.
And it says start assignment.
Due Thursday by 1:59 a.m.
Tells me when it's due, when I have to turn it in.
Points 100.
How many points?
Submitting a text entry box.
And it says submitting a text entry box. That just means using that editor that I was talking about. So rather than submitting the assignment as a document, the student would just, type their answer in that box or paste it in that box.
Available Mar 21 at 5:22 a.m. Mar 20.
That tells us when it was first available.
List end. Watch the Desmos tutorial and read the accompanying file describing graphing tasks. Then visit the Desmos website from the Freedom Scientific Math page and practice performing each task. Next, using the rich text editor, write a paragraph for each task outlining your experience with audible graphing and submit your assignment.
And those are the instructions.
Module.
So once again,
Submodule navigation region.
You would just go back up to start assignment, and then you could go in. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to up arrow.
And watch the list end. Available submit points 1 to Thursday. List of 4 start assignment button.
Okay, that's a button. So if I press a space bar.
Main region.
Then I can press H.
Wrapping to top. Desmos Practice heading level 1.
And I can down arrow.
List of 4 items. Due Thursday by 1:59 a.m. Points 100. Submitting a text entry box. Available Mar 21.
And
list end.
If I just keep arrowing here, I'll get to where I want to go. But if I press the letter E.
Edit.
That is our edit. That is our edit box.
P. Edit toolbar end.
And so from here,
edit.
I could press enter, I could paste something, I could type something. And then when I'm done, I can press escape and then press the letter B.
View keyboard shortcuts button menu.
Now you notice it said view keyboard shortcuts. That lets us know that we're on a page or in an area that has keyboard shortcuts.
Accessibility checker button.
There's an accessibility checker. So if you're creating something and you're using the this rich edit content field, then you can run the accessibility checker to see if there are any known issues.
Switch to the HTML editor button. The pretty HTML editor is not keyboard accessible. Press.
Oh, that's good to know. But that's an HTML editor that allows you to go in and actually use code like HTML code to format and things like that.
Full screen button. Drag handle. Use cancel button.
There's cancel.
Submit assignment button.
And there's where you would submit. So that's just an overview of that page. Now I want to show you one thing here. I'm going to try, I always forget which is which here. So I'm going to press Alt F8.
Alt F8.
And no, that's not correct.
Cancel.
Okay. So let's try the other keyboard command for getting a list of keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to turn off the virtual PC cursor, which is Insert Z Zulu.
Use virtual PC cursor off.
And now I'm going to type Shift/, which is the question mark.
Question. And
that did not do it either.
Question. Alt F8.
Okay. Well, neither of those worked for
Use
some
submit.
reason. They're supposed to.
Desmos
And this one did this morning. Let's go back. I tell you what, this might be my fault. Let's go back to the
back.
previous page here. Let me cancel.
Account courses but history button. Canvas previous submit assignment button. Cancel. Desmos.
Now let me try it. It's kind of confusing as to where you can use those keyboard commands. So let's try turning off.
Use virtual PC cursor off.
Insert Z to turn that off and press Shift/.
Question.
Okay, let's try.
Alt F8.
Huh,
Use
it is
Desmos.
supposed to work. So
Same
I'm not sure.
Desmos practice heading level 1.
Elizabeth,
Dragging
there's
to
a
top.
note that says you have to be in the RCE.
Back. Math, JAWS, and
Okay, let's
Math.
see. Maybe I have to go to.
Links list dialog. A. Announcements. A. Assignments. 9
Okay,
of
so here's the other way to get to assignments is you can just go straight to assignments by pressing Insert F7 to bring up a list of links and then press A for assignments. So now I'm going to press Enter.
assignments. Math, JAWS.
And so from here, it should work.
Alt F8. Use virtual PC. Question. Close button.
There we go. All right. Sorry, guys. That's my fault. So it's confusing because if you're in assignments, you have to be on the main page for assignments. Then you can bring up the list of keyboard shortcuts. What confused me is I saw that link just a couple minutes ago. So from the assignments, the main assignments page, you press Shift/ and you have to turn off virtual PC cursor. So I'm going to do it
Escape.
again for you.
Use main assignment.
So we're here on the assignments page. I'm going to turn off the virtual PC cursor with Insert Z
Use virtual PC cursor off.
and Shift/.
Question. Use main reclose button.
And there we go.
Canvas support button. Canvas support
Maybe
button.
not.
Assignment same. Use virtual PC. Question.
All right. Well, we're just going to move on to the next thing because I don't sometimes, and for example, if you're in announcements, you can do it from within an announcement. So it's kind of iffy.
Use virtual main.
And I don't know why, but so some of the keyboard commands, what happens is it comes up in a list and you can use J to move to the next assignment, K to move to the previous, and so forth. So for the sake of time, let's see if you guys have any questions.
Yes, so going back just a little, can we get access to the Desmos video?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Go to freedomscientific.com/math. And on that page, you'll find the tutorial and you'll find the Desmos link, and that'll take you to those tutorials. And there's several tasks there, I think 4 or 5, I think 4 that were done there. And there's web content if you just want to read those as well.
All right. Next was a comment. Wow, I didn't know that Desmos and JAWS were friends.
They are. It's a wonderful thing.
All
It's a
right.
great tool.
Okay, so that's it for questions so far.
All right. So let's go back to
The PowerPoint.
yes. Let's talk about reading announcements.
Great.
I'm going to go back to my dashboard here so I'm there when I need to be. Okay. So you can access announcements right from your dashboard. That's the beauty of Canvas, is that you have access to things either in courses or just straight from your dashboard. You can press H to navigate through the announcements by heading. And then you have a reply link that you can go to and you can read replies and then you can leave a reply. So I'm going to go ahead now and go back over here and share my screen. Okay.
Same page link skip the
So
dashboard. Google
let's go
Chrome.
back over here to the dashboard.
Dashboard.
And let's see, I can't remember if announcements is a button or a link. So I'm going to show you another command here. If you're not sure, you can always use the JAWS find command. You can press Control and the letter F as in Frank,
Virtual find. JAWS find dialog. Find what? Edit combo. Calend.
And it knows the last thing I typed in, but I'm just going to type announcements.
Announcements. Link announcements math.
So it is a link. So I'm just going to press enter on this link for announcements.
Dashboard. Link announcements math. JAWS.
All right. And now I can press the letter H.
Announcements heading level 1.
Okay. So that's the first heading for announcements. I can down arrow here. Let's see what we got.
Announcement filter. Combo box all.
So we can filter between all
Search
and
announcements by title.
different classes. We can search by title. So I'm going to press H again.
Announcements list heading level 2.
All right. I can down arrow.
Welcome heading level 3
Or
link.
I can press H, which is what I did. And it says welcome. Haven't read that again because I was talking.
Heading level 3 link welcome.
So that is the first announcement. I can down arrow here.
All sections. Welcome to this course on math, JAWS, and Braille. Here you will learn about tools for accessing math content with JAWS and a Braille display. Link reply.
So there's a reply link.
0 unread replies, 1 total replies. Posted on Mar 9, 2022 at 3:19 p.m.
Shows you when it was posted.
Main region Mar post 0 a link reply.
So if I want to go to reply, I can press enter or space on the reply link.
Main region.
I pressed enter and I'll hit
Page has topic
letter.
colon.
Sorry, I'll press the letter H.
Welcome heading level 1.
That takes me back to the main heading for the announcement. I'll down arrow.
Link Elizabeth Whitaker. All sections. No unread replies. 1 reply. Welcome to this course on math, JAWS, and Braille. Search entries or author. Edit. Filter replies by unread. Filter replies by unread. Check elapse replies button. Expand replies button. Reply to welcome button.
So here is a reply button. And if I wanted to reply there, I would just press the space bar. And then again, we have that, what is that? Rich text editor. And you can just type your reply there. And then you could press the letter B to go to submit reply.
Article end. List of 1 items. Article. Mark as unread button. Collapse sub discussion button. Link Renee Whitaker. Heading level 2 link Renee Whitaker.
And I had actually replied to this here, so it's going to show my reply.
Mar 21 at 12:59 p.m.
It shows when I left it.
Manage discussion entry button. I am excited to be in this class. Like entry checkbox not checked.
So if that was someone else's reply, I could press space there to like it.
Article end.
And there we go. So that is how you work with announcements here.
Meeting control.
I'm going to stop sharing and see if you guys, oh wait, no, I'm not. Let me share one more time because I didn't show you something I wanted to show you. So sorry about that. Okay, it's not showing me. Here we go.
Meeting topic. Welcome
Okay.
Google top.
So from here,
Back.
I'm going to go back.
Announcements.
And I'm in announcements.
Visited link. Welcome visited link reply.
So
Welcome visited heading level 3 link.
you can actually press enter on the link that is the title for the announcement. I'll do that now.
Main region.
And then
Page has 5 read topic colon. Alt F8. Keyboard shortcuts dialog.
it finally worked. Okay. So I pressed Alt F8 and keyboard shortcuts came up here. And so I can read them with my arrow keys.
Heading level 2 keyboard shortcuts. Users of screen readers may need to turn off the virtual cursor in order to use these keyboard shortcuts.
Okay. So the reason for that is, let's go through some of these here.
List of J next message.
So if you were to press J and K and letters like that, it's going to try to use quick nav keys and do other things on the page. But if you press Insert Z to turn off the virtual PC cursor and then use those commands, that's how you're going to use those.
K previous message. E edit current message. D delete current message. R reply to current message. N reply to topic. List N.
So those are some keyboard commands that are native to Canvas. And I'm going to press Escape.
Escape. Topic.
And we're back on the announcement page there. All right.
Meeting controls.
So let's stop sharing and see if you guys have any questions.
All right. One question that did come in, how do you submit an assignment if you have to upload a file?
So if you have to upload a file, there should be a place there within that assignment. It tells you how you submit it, whether it's text box or file. And there is a place there where it says upload file. Let me see if I can see if I can walk you through that here in just a minute. Let's see if we have any other questions, and I can see that one of the assignments here, and I'm going to go there while we're taking questions and see if that's how, I can show you how to do that.
Yeah, we had two questions that came in. One that I really do want to turn over to our audience. Essa asks, is Canvas the most accessible learning platform? And also, is Canvas compatible with other screen readers apart from JAWS? So Canvas is the first learning management system that we've covered here at APA using JAWS. We are interested in learning if there are other platforms out there that you're using. But Elizabeth, any comments about if you've learned anything about how accessible it is in comparison to other learning management platforms, or if it's compatible with other screen readers?
You know, I don't want to compare it to anything else because everything changes so quickly. So I have used some others. I think Canvas is accessible and they are continuing to work on it. But I think, again, depending on the content and the way the content is built and the way the content is put on the page, that really can make a huge difference. Because if it's not accessible, then your students are going to run into some issues. But you guys may have some more insights into that.
So someone shared that, yes, NVDA works with Canvas. And the follow-up question was, is it free or commercial? Canvas, I assume.
I would think institutions, I know they have institution accounts. I really don't know anything about the cost or anything. But I know the free account, free for teachers, that one's free. So to answer the question about assignments, I went to an assignment that requires a file. I went to start assignment. And then there is a tab. It says file upload tab selected, and it says upload a file or choose a file you've already uploaded. And there is an upload file button. And if you press that enter on that, it's going to access your folders and things on your computer, and you can select the file you want to upload. And then you would just go to submit assignment button.
All right, and then one more question that came in the chat before we go to our poll question. My student, and it's more of a comment, but my student uses Canvas with Chromebox, but there are a lot of issues with the way her middle school teachers are setting up their classrooms.
Yeah, I think, again, the Canvas community link really had a lot of great insights there into how those pages should be set up. And again, I recommend uniform classrooms. If you do it one way that works, try to set up all your classes like that.
All right, well, if you're ready, Elizabeth, we can
Sure.
launch our last poll question for the day.
All right.
All right, so this is one we've talked about, and it's definitely an important one for folks that want to learn how to get around Canvas and what things they can do. What are the 2 keyboard commands for listing keyboard shortcuts in Canvas? These work in different places, but do the same thing. So 2 keyboard commands for listing keyboard shortcuts in Canvas. So choose all that apply. Comma, period, shift +/ semicolon, apostrophe, alt + F8. Pick the 2 that are correct. Comma, period, shift +/ semicolon, apostrophe, or alt F8. These list the keyboard shortcuts in Canvas.
And feel free to drop any questions in the chat at this time. We're also interested in learning if there are other learning management systems that you and your students are using with JAWS and what those are, so we could potentially program in the future a webinar on, say, Blackboard or another learning management system, or rather, if you'd like to do a deeper dive into Canvas. So just let us know in the chat while you're answering those polls. Yeah, so we've got at least one request for Blackboard, deeper dive into Canvas, several requests for that.
Yes.
Yeah, so deeper dive into Canvas is definitely getting a lot of hits.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. And Blackboard too. I've used a Blackboard extensively. I haven't used it in a while, but I have used a Blackboard extensively.
Yeah, we've had a few folks who shared that they've used Blackboard as an instructor, or using it in a university class. So
yeah, okay.
That definitely is getting some hits as well.
Good to know that it's still so widely used.
All right, well, looking at our poll question, what are 2 keyboard commands for listing keyboard shortcuts in Canvas? 77% said Shift plus slash, 95% said Alt plus F8, 5% said comma, and then we had 0% for period, semicolon, and apostrophe. Elizabeth, what was the correct response?
There are 2, Alt F8 and Shift slash.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to move on to set notification preferences slide.
All right. So you can access your notification preferences from your account, and you can set preferences for each course or across all courses. And then you can navigate those settings using the letter B, because those are buttons that are going to show you all of your all your different settings. You can access calendar from the dashboard as well, and you're going to use agenda view. And I will show you how to do that here. I'm going to go ahead and share.
Great. I'm going to make sure I'm not.
Okay, for whatever reason, it's not letting me share the correct window, but let's just try this.
AP Math.
Got it.
Google
Okay,
Chrome.
good.
Math.
All right. And the reason I'm here on this page is this is on the modules page, or the course page. I mean, I went to the course, and if I wanted to show you this real quick because I did get it to work. So press Insert Z to turn off the virtual PC cursor.
Use virtual PC cursor off.
And press Shift slash.
Question. List end. Close button. Canvas. Math.
Now it did work. I promise it did.
Use
And it's not working
PC
now just because
off.
I want it to.
Question.
But what happens is then you turn your virtual PC cursor back on.
List end. Close
and for whatever reason it's not.
Math.
Okay, let's try.
Use virtual question. Close button.
There we go. I think it was already open actually. So you turn off virtual PC cursor, press Insert Z for Zulu, or Insert Z to turn off the virtual PC cursor. Then you press Shift slash, and you have to turn the virtual PC cursor back on.
Use virtual up previous module slash item down next modules.
And you can read those keyboard commands.
Current module slash item I increase and then O decrease.
So it just gives you a bunch of keyboard commands there, and you can press escape.
Escape. Math.
So I just wanted to show you that. Okay. Insert F7.
Links.
D for dashboard.
D. Dashboard.
Let's go home.
Dashboard.
And then we're going to go to accounts.
Page has
so again, just about everything you need is right here on this dashboard. So I'm going to press B for account.
Dashboard options button menu collapse.
Wait.
Dash account button.
There we go. If all else fails, just press Control Home to go to the top of the page. Press B. There's your account button. Space bar.
Banner region.
And I want to find notifications, and I think that is a link. So insert F7.
Heading list dialog.
Oops.
Escape.
Not insert F6, insert F7.
Links list.
In for notifications.
N. Profile notifications.
There it is.
1 of 7.
Okay. And it's the first link, so I'm going to press enter on it.
Notification settings.
And then I'm going to press H for heading.
Notification settings heading level 1.
And from here, I can down arrow, and it's just going to give me some information about.
Account level notifications apply to all courses. Notifications for individual courses can be changed within each course and will override these notifications.
So you can set your overall notification settings, and then you can go to a course, and when you're in that course, you have a notifications link there as well, and you can change the notifications just for that course.
Close button. Daily notifications will be delivered or close button. Settings for.
So here we have some settings.
Settings for table with 2 columns and 13 rows.
They're in a table.
Course activities notification preferences. Course activities notification preferences. Course activities. Email. Lizzie Esmus 25 due date. Assignment due date change. Weekly summary button.
Okay, so here's a notification for assignment due date change. So if somebody changes the assignment due date, I have it set
A weekly summary button.
to weekly summary. It's just going to give me the weekly summary. If I want to change it, I press the space bar.
Menu. Daily summary menu. Weekly summary menu.
And you can choose daily, weekly,
Notifications off menu.
and notifications off. So I'm going to hit escape.
Escape.
And you just press enter on the
Escape.
one that you want. So you can just go down through all these settings and change them according to your preferences. So that's how you change your notification settings. I'm going to go back to insert F7.
Links list dialog.
D for dashboard.
D. Dashboard.
Enter. And
Dashboard.
I'm going to show you the calendar. So I think insert F7.
Links list.
C for calendar.
C. Calendar 4 of 18.
And enter.
Dashboard Google Chrome.
So with calendar, you
Page
have
as for
to you have to change it to agenda view, and there may be a way to tell it you want it that way all the time. I haven't found it, but it may be here. So I'm going to press H.
Calendar heading level 1.
And I'm going to down arrow.
Today button. Previous button. Next button. Heading level 2 button. March 2022. Click to change.
And right under here.
Warning, for improved accessibility, please use the agenda view calendar button.
And I'm going to press the space bar here.
Now displaying March 22nd, 2022 through March 24th.
All right.
Today button. Heading level 2 button.
From here, I can down arrow.
Week tab. Month tab. Agenda tab selected.
And notice it said agenda tab selected.
Assignment due open of assignment due 1:59 a.m. Desmos practice not completed calendar math JAWS and Braille. Open event menu for Desmos practice button. List end.
And there's the assignment that I have due on the 24th. So that is a quick
Meeting
overview
Alt S.
of your calendar. Do you guys have any questions?
I am not seeing any new questions in the chat, but feel free
Right.
to drop those there.
All right. So I'm just going to talk about this one, participating in discussions and collaborating with others. You can access those discussions from the dashboard. Once again, you can go to your dashboard and then you can press insert F7 for links, and you can press D until you get to discussions and press enter. So it's a link. And once you go to that link, you are going to press the letter H, and you can go through your different discussions there. And again, just like the announcement, you have a reply button. You can reply to discussions. Now, if you are creating discussions, if you're creating a course, or you're creating or editing a discussion, you can actually turn off threaded replies if you want to make them easier to navigate. Some people like to do that. Threaded replies will show you every reply to a specific discussion in one place. So, some people like to have that turned on, some people like to have that turned off. You can search discussions by title or author, and then you can use tools like Google Docs to enable collaborations for students. And finally, the last thing here is how to access messages, and that's very similar to discussions. You can access the inbox from your dashboard, and that is also a link. So you just press insert F7 and hit I for inbox, and then you press enter. And when you're in the inbox, you have a drop down. I'm actually going to show you this one real quick. You have a drop down list that you can, where you can choose like sent or inbox or things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and share again quickly here and just kind of walk you through the inbox, because the inbox is a little bit different.
Meeting. APH Canvas with JAWS webinar notes.
Let's go to
Dashboard.
the right one. Okay.
Dashboard.
So I'm here on the dashboard, and I'm going to go to inbox with insert F7.
Links list dialog.
I for inbox.
I inbox
And
5 of 18.
I'm going to press enter.
Inbox.
So I don't
H
actually
inbox.
have any messages, but I have sent a message. So if I press letter H here,
Inbox heading level 1. Wrapping to top. Inbox heading level 1.
there's only one heading I can down arrow.
Filter messages by course. All courses button menu.
So there you can filter messages by course. That's a good thing if you just want to see messages for a certain course.
Filter conversations by type. Combo box inbox.
So filter conversations by type. I'm going to press space or enter here. I'm going to press space to activate this combo box.
Main.
So we have inbox,
Unread.
unread,
Starred.
starred,
Sent.
sent,
Archive.
archived,
Submission comments.
and submission comments. I'm going to go back up to sent,
Starred. Sent.
and I'm going to press enter.
Combo box.
So that's how you go to your sent items. So from here, I can press H.
H.
Wait a minute. I think
Escape. Virtual.
forms mode was still on.
Combo box sent.
Okay, so I'll press H.
Renee Whitaker. Elizabeth Whitaker. Heading level 2.
So it's to me, basically from me. And I'm going to down arrow.
Heading level 3 test. I am testing this to make sure I can send messages. 1 total messages. Not start test. Open message button.
So I could open the message, and from there I could reply. I could reply all.
List end. No converse. List end. Open message.
You would have buttons for that, and then you could just type your messages and send them just like you do on every other, like with the announcements and the discussions and every other app, every other place here on Canvas. All right,
APH.
so let's see if you guys have any
Edit. Page 3.
other questions.
Meeting. Alt S.
Yeah, lots of questions about
Oh,
the
good.
calendar.
Okay.
So going back, does the calendar show assignments for all courses in one place, or do I need to go to each course and view the calendar?
No, it will show them. It's my understanding that it shows them for all of your courses in one place, and it shows it according to due date.
All right, next question. Is the calendar generally accessible, or do you only use the agenda view?
I've tried using, I'm going to go here and try it. They recommend the agenda view because it lists everything in a list view, but I'm here, like if I'm here in, it'll show it, because right here it says Desmos practice, and it says when it's due, and it says open event menu. And so yeah, it's accessible. I just think that the agenda view gives you a list.
All right, so last question. Is it possible to export your Canvas calendar to Outlook or Google?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? I don't know the answer to that, but I can find out for you. If you want to send an email to training@vispero.com, and then I can email you back with an answer.
And we can probably cover that in Canvas round 2.
I would think you can. I mean, I can't imagine not being able to connect those, but I don't know how to do it. But I'll find out.
All right, well, I think we're just about ready to start wrapping up. So Elizabeth, I'm going to your next slide if you want to tell us a little bit more about training at Vispero.
Absolutely. So if you go to freedomscientific.com/training, there you'll find all of our training materials, links to our upcoming webinars, archived webinars, our teachers page where we have JAWS training modules, our math content, all of that, our student of the month program. If you have a student you would like to nominate who uses Freedom Scientific products to achieve their educational goals, go there and nominate your student. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments or feedback, things that you want us to cover in the future, let us know at training@vispero.com.
Elizabeth, are those trainings free at freedomscientific.com?
Yes, all of our training is free.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Paul with discoveries.
Hey, thank you. So a few different things. Teachers, need to design their courses on Canvas with accessibility in mind, there's nothing worse than having an assignment to do and not being able to access the information. It's worse than a web page in one sense, because there's usually a time limit. You've got to get it done quickly. And if you can't access it, that's just detrimental to a student's educational advancement. Students can navigate Canvas with JAWS reading and quick navigation keys. You have to know those, have to have that basic foundation in place in order to use this learning management system. And finally, native Canvas keyboard shortcuts provide additional navigation options. So those keyboard shortcuts are built in there for you so that you can navigate more easily in a lot of places. Let's get to our last slides here and talk about the JAWS annual student license available from APH for $99. A link has just been put there in the chat for you. Go to the portal, complete the information that's there, and go through the steps, and you can get a student license for $99. Then there's the JAWS Zoom Text Fusion Suite for $300 per license. That, if your student is going to use both pieces of software, it needs both, that's the way to go, rather than necessarily getting individual licenses. Sometimes Fusion together, it definitely is going to work better if you're going to be having a student switch from speech to vision and back and forth. And maybe they need speech later in the day when they have eye strain, or maybe there's some things that work better with JAWS, and they just, whatever you need to do, that license is available still for $300 from us as well. And we appreciate you coming in today and going through Canvas with us. Looks like we've got interest in a follow-up, more advanced webinar, as well as with Blackboard. So as we work on coming up with future webinars, we'll definitely keep those things in mind.